Hey Saber fans, so I got a really nice reveal for you today. It is a Roman Props original Inception. This was from, I believe, it was at least 5 years ago, maybe longer. It was his original run of Inception. His Inception Elites have chrome plating here and here, whereas this one does not. It's all polished aluminum, so if you scratch it up, you don't have to worry about it being there forever. You can polish it out if you want. Of course, the only thing chrome plated is the pommel. I gotta tell you, his threading is just so butter smooth. Regardless, enough yapping. Let's get to the good stuff.
I have the high ground.
Figure a lot of people will appreciate this with the new show. And it turned on the volume.
So uncivilized.
Of course, we got that nice music track. And the best part is, it has a Goth 3 Designs master chassis with a removable grip section and dual crystals. Bottom one set on pulsing. This does have deep sleep mode, so after I think about 5 or 10 minutes, that LED kicks off. Color changing on the fly, of course. Get it back to that nice royal blue. As you already seen, I did throw some accent LEDs down in here. I did diffuse it a little bit, that way it's not so blindingly bright, because you know these Neopixels are super bright. This has the CC Sabers short pin connector. It's literally the first time I've ever used these. And little MK1 blade plug, since I can't source an Inception blade plug. Also a short pin connector up here. And a recessed blade PCB. That way there is no blade wobble whatsoever. And the original installer added an, I believe it's, I'm pretty sure it's an 832. You can see it kind of goes over the lip a little bit. It's extra blade retention pretty much. Your PCB connector in there. Yeah, that beautiful polished brass and nickel plated steel or nickel polished steel. Got some copper tubing here, got some brass rods there. It just turned out phenomenal. It's a 18650 battery, high amp. And for chassis access, you just undo this screw a little bit. It actually guides along this little slot right here, but pulls out a little snug. Pulls out to where you can get the kill switch.
I have the high ground.
Got your recharge port, battery level indicator. You have your SD and micro USB access there. Clink, clink. Yeah, that was probably the only way I could actually get decent access on this, and it's still kind of a pain. Put a little bit of plastic mesh here for the switches. Because, you know, the switches are up in here, and it's got wires that feed up into that. So, I mean, I wanted to do that nice mesh, that way it could be a little more secure. And you hear that nice little snap, a nice little click. That's when you know you're fully inserted. All puns intended. You can feel a little bit of resistance whenever you go to tighten that up. Nice and snug. Yeah, sound venting, awesome. Threading is just so smooth. I did have to add a Saber Forge shim on this. That way it lines up perfectly. You can see whenever it's fully tightened, V-groove is in line. Yeah, that's max volume at 3000. It's a 28mm 3-watt 8-ohm bass speaker. So on Proffie, you can run those up to 3000, which is absolute max volume. You can see I do. Sometimes you still get false clashes. Can't really show off the blade too much. Other than, you know, that's about all you're gonna get for on the camera anyways. Yeah, for the blade, I tried something new with the blade for the recessed blade PCB. There we go. So it's basically flush against that holder, but I did a 3-point set screw system. That way I don't have to worry about it teetering back and forth, so it's super secure in there. I think I did a 30-inch blade with a parabolic tip from TCSS. Turned out really good. Threw a couple gaskets in there for the blade plug, just to make sure it's not going to touch those pins regardless. You can actually even see the gap right there. If I can get it to focus. There we go. And actually just have a little squish from those gaskets. Yeah, the original install that was on this was it was using just a PCB on the bottom, taking up the whole length of this, and it left like, I don't know, less than half an inch of blade depth, which is not ideal. It was quite wobbly, and unfortunately when I got this, the actual heatsink cup that's holding the PCB, it was actually snapped off. Like this whole emitter was off. There was threading in there. Oh, it was freaking terrible. Had to source a new heatsink cup, which luckily I had one laying around. Didn't have much luck other than that, but as you can see, she is done and she is beautiful. And I figured, you know, while I had everything apart, I went ahead and polished everything up really well. But of course, being real copper, real brass, it's already tarnished again. And the same for this copper button here. Turned out phenomenal though. I completely gutted it, completely did a reinstall from the ground up. Gotta tell you, that is beautiful. And it is tight. And this was actually improvised on there for it to be removable. Normally, all you're supposed to be able to do is just pull it up to about here, and there's loose wires up there, and that's it. But it was very well improvised to make a removable grenade grip. Beautiful. Well, I think that's all I got for you. Till the next time, may the force be with you always.